hard thing a lot of staffing companies have is expanding beyond their metropolitan area. And we've been able to be very successful with carrying out our brand and our manner of providing the services. And that starts with having the right people to work with, and then building the right culture around it and making sure that they all understand the values, how we go about doing business, why it is that we're going to win, those types of things. And I'd say those are some of like the very core basic principles that we worked around. We had a very disciplined approach. Everybody was going to do it a certain way. And our culture was one of rewards and pride. We wanted everybody to feel this chip on your shoulder, that we're the little engine that could. And still to this day, that's actually the big challenge when you get to this size. We're fortunate to have success. How do we keep that spirit, that go-get-em kind of attitude? And it's a lot of work.
For us, it was staying the course and making tough decisions. Many customers came to us and said, we really like your engineers, we really like what you do, we want to pay you X to build this software for us. It was very difficult to turn down that revenue and stay with your core competencies and to be able to continue growing. So I would say stay the course, have confidence, because you're the captain of the ship that if things go bad, it comes back to you, but if things go good, they go to you. So look forward and stay the course.
I call it learn to stay in your box, because if you're entrepreneurial, you like to take advantage of opportunities. And just because the opportunity sits in front of you doesn't mean you're the one to do it. And I mean, one of my adventures was just as big a flame out as another one was success, because I lost my way in that structure. And sometimes to be successful, you have to recognize when to rein it in and when to go after what is your mission and your direction.
Keeping everybody in the same boat. We have the philosophy that the strong helps the new. Our stronger companies incubate the new startups. We try to have all of our partners invest if they want in all of the companies that we do start. And that keeps everybody kind of on the same page with the same goals, and I think that's been very key.
There's no manual telling you what to do. I mean, if you're fortunate enough to experience growth, with it comes sort of the next set of challenges of how you're going to get that next level, or how you're going to sustain your success. And for all the books that are out there, and you sort of go through this endless searching process, and while that's helpful, it's actually living it that really is the connection.
I think keeping the interests of the company aligned and the different players, especially as you grow, you start to have the equity component investors, and you almost always end up bringing a debt component into the company. And those are two really opposing things. Mm-hmm. Managing the different interests and helping people see the common vision and be able to drive forward even though they come from different angles. So being able to keep a culture of an organization, so even though we might have different reasons for what we're doing, and you might have the guy who's got a piece of the rock, or the new person that's just a good employee, and they're motivated by different things. There's some people that get it. If you give them equity in the company, they get it. That drives their boat. You got other people that think, wow, that's really cool, but don't really get motivated by that. They'd rather have, $1 extra in their paycheck that day. And so figuring that out, keeping the common interests, being able to keep a culture driving forward and understanding what drives each person is a good challenge for a business.
Those first year or two where everybody's pumped up on energy and excitement and caffeine and it's all a blur and everybody's working 24/7, reality sets in that you can't go like that year after year after year. And once your business is a lot more mature, I think one of the biggest challenges is keeping that exciting energy going. That's definitely something that we're constantly focused on, instigating some fun, getting out of the office, getting everybody wherever, King's Dominion, go ride go-karts for lunch. I mean, we do a lot together out of the office as a group. Every
time, excuse me, that we fail to communicate appropriately with our employees on any kind of change, we always regretted that. I mean, you can't emphasize enough that you make sure you're explaining everything. I always believe in making sure people understand why. Why are we doing this? not just that we're doing it. And anytime we've fallen short in that regard, that's always been very painful, because for us, our people we're a service business, and that's everything.
We made a big mistake in not implementing inventory control and warehouse systems early enough. We grew very fast and did not implement some of those back-end systems in the warehouse nearly fast enough. I think some of our other mistakes that many entrepreneurs I talk to share is not recognizing when someone internally is not a fit and doing something about it quick enough. And we really had to learn that over the years. On the times that we did make a mistake and hired the wrong salesperson, we let it go on way too long. And we had to get much better about recognizing that and calling it much sooner.
If you're reviewing the P&L and the numbers and the balance sheet and something doesn't feel right and you have a project that's going off in a direction, don't hope it's going to get better. Give it a time, give it a timeline. Remember, the buck stops with you. You want the friendships, which is a great, wonderful atmosphere, and always find your employees doing something right. If you come in on a Saturday and you're working on the numbers and you find somebody in and want to catch up on work, make a note and say, send them $500. That can be the best money you ever spent. That's not a mistake, that's doing something right. A mistake is knowing that you need to make a decision and just delaying that decision and finding ways to delay it. Make the decision, put a timeline, and stand with it.